What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It's episode number 10. Loads of Premier League games to get through today on the back of our loss to Brentford on penalties in the Carabao Cup and our first scouting updates of the season as well. So let's crack straight on. Our first game, Aston Villa at home. Come on, Foxes. It's been a pretty mixed start to the season, really. 1 win, 1 loss and 2 draws. And if I'm being honest, very realistic. Exactly what I think you'd expect from Season 2 with a newly promoted side. And maybe 10 years ago, in Leicester's second year back in the Premier League, they won the title. I don't think that's going to happen with us. Ollie Watkins with the early opener. This is more like what you'd expect from this Foxes team in their second year. There's El Khanous finds Durasimi. It's a wonderful slip ball through. Soumare wins it back. And Durasimi blazes it over the bar. Should have at least hit the target from there. Been a better team in this game really, but still find ourselves trailing, and that just goes to show you how hard it is to win in the Premier League as Ollie bags his brace and it's 2-0. It's like when you're a weaker team, you've got to be, and I've talked about this phenomenon before. I don't think it's just, you know, for football or sport. I think it's life in general. When you are, I guess, let's use the word inferior, you have to play an almost perfect game to get the same result that those that have more of an advantage would need to do. It's the cruel nature of life, but it's completely true. And we see it in every single facet, including in team sport and football as well. Down by 2, but Villa haven't even played better than us. We played better than them. As Durasimi can't get away. Yeah, I think I played quite well out there, to be honest, despite the fact the scoreline now reads 3-0. I've knocked the ball around nicely. I've played some good football. I've had a couple of decent chances, and Ollie Watkins just scored a hat-trick. I don't know. It's just one of those things as El Khanous gets free and Martinez makes the save. And we're still down. I can't believe I'm saying this. We're still down by 3 goals. I always say this. I'm very honest and very fair in my highlights package. And I never tell a story that isn't true. If I've played badly, you'll see me play badly. And I'll tell you I've played badly. This is one of those games that's not the case. I've done really well. Just haven't had to rub the green out there. Yes, it's something I've learned with age and painful personal experiences. Ultimately, if you're at the bottom, you have to be almost perfect to get what someone else at the top can get without barely trying. Ollie Watkins barely broke a sweat and he still managed to claim a match ball. That is the cruel nature sometimes of team sport and life in general. Even so, a big defeat there. Let's try and bounce back in the following game. Can't see it happening though. Really tough one here as we travel to West London to take on Chelsea at the Bridge. They spanked us in all 3 games against them last season, including the FA Cup quarter-final. I'm not sure we'll get our first win here against the former Foxes boss, Enzo Maresca. Chelsea away next. UK down this right-hand side for Chelsea. Beats Victor Christiansen, steps inside and beats Hermansen at the near post to give Chelsea the lead. I have to say, even though he won the Golden Glove last year, he did drop some clangers, and a couple times this season I've been, let's just say, somewhat unconvinced by his shot-stopping ability. He's got his angles completely wrong there. For it to slip in at the near post like that, it shouldn't happen at this level. Chelsea in front, and unlike the Villa game, I'm not surprised. I've done nothing in this first half. Really difficult starts to the season. But again, exactly what we were looking for really is Nicholas Jackson belts one in from 19 yards. And Chelsea double their lead right before the hour mark. Well, the board said to us finish mid-table, and I've always found that to be quite an ambiguous term. How do you define mid-table? What positions are those? Because really you could say 8th is mid-table if you want to be strict, or you could say 14th is mid-table if you want to be lenient. But in this start to the season, on this run of form, we won't finish either of those places. We'll be finishing like last year, only just above safety. This is a terrible start. Right, let's get some positives, shall we? First scouting updates of the season. So a reminder from England, we're looking for that Jamie Vardy successor. There's 3 players here, we'll keep scouting for now. And from Denmark, we're looking for that next Kasper Schmeichel. Based on his form to start the season off, I don't want the next Mads Hermansen right now, but no one making the academy from the first batch of scouting. And don't forget, we're just doing 6-month missions this year, not 9 months, and from Gibraltar. Oh dear, that is not a great start whatsoever. Not a single player with 80 plus potential at the max range. That's when you know you've got a bad crop of youngsters from your 5-star scout. It'll improve though, I'm sure of that. Right, let's jump into the following game. On the back of those back-to-back losses and no wins now in our last, I think, 4 in all competitions. Really tough one here as well, as we play host to Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Not the start of the season we were hoping for, but despite the loss to Aston Villa, I do think most of our points this year will once again come at the King Power. Let's try and get one decent one here. You know, we haven't beaten a traditional Big Six team yet in this save. And granted, we're only just beginning season 2, but... Ooh, Jackie boy! Calm it down, son. But I think it's coming, I do. Like last season, we were very unlucky not to get at least one win. I mean, we stuck to Manchester United, we drew with them back-to-back, we drew with Spurs back-to-back as well. I don't think it'll be long before we do have that first scalp. And you know what, maybe it could come here, you know, as Durasimbi gets away from Josko. And Edison makes a reasonably comfortable save. It's coming, and I think it will come not before long. Yes, thank you very much, referee. Well reminded. Well remembered, I should say. That was an awful tackle from Grealish. On another day, that could have been a straight red. I do like Grealish, though, I'll be honest. You know, sometimes I get comments and messages from people saying, oh, Docs, who's your favourite player, mate? Who's your favourite player from the modern game? Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Jack Grealish. Now, don't get me wrong, since he's come to Man City with the minutes being reduced, which is always going to happen, and Pep's style of play, he doesn't really thrive and perform the way he did at Aston Villa. But he's a top bloke, Jack Grealish. He really is. He's a lovely guy. And as Marmoush gives Man City the opener 27 minutes in, he'll always have a fan in me. He's a really likeable bloke, but also the way he interacts with fans, and particularly fans with special needs as well, due to his sister having, is it cerebral palsy, I think? He's a top bloke, Jack Grealish. I think he's a really nice guy. My favourite player of all time, though, for those curious? Well, if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know who he is. A certain South Korean that graced the Premier League for many, many years, but not at Spurs. No, that is Park Ji-sung, my favourite player of all time. But, you know, my first ever childhood hero in football, for those curious, also played for Manchester United, but this was back in the 90s, Peter Schmeichel. Peter Schmeichel was my first ever childhood hero on the football pitch. Yes, come on! Durasimbi scores a very lucky goal for a late leveller. And of course his son Casper is who we're trying to replace right now between the sticks. I know we keep more clean sheets with Schmeichel between the sticks than right now an out of form Manson. But on the other end, finally Leicester have ended their goal drought. And it's Durasimbi, shock horror, that's got it. Free to hold on. Corner for City. Foden demands the ball off the fans. He wants to take this one quick. Maybe akin to Trent all those years ago as he whips one in near post. It's headed up in the air by the youngster Bailey Rice. Then he hits the deck. No foul given. Samson heads it up in the air. Ref says play on. It's not going to be full time yet. Valverde slips it through. And Manson what a save. But Foden turns in a rebound to break the hearts of the Foxes. Manson, Foden turned from 0 to hero, but I can't blame him for the goal. It's just bad luck and great reactions from Foden. Leicester level it late, but still end up with a loss. I'll say it once again, it's the cruel nature of the Premier League. 3 straight defeats. Not the start to the season we were hoping for, not the run we want to be in kicking the season off, but I'll say it once again, the key word, realistic. This is exactly what we wanted from this save. Not to be chasing the championship right now, but to be chasing points to keep us in the Premier League. And these will be 3 huge ones to claim here, and our first away day victory of the season, if we can get it. Leeds at Ellen Road, newly promoted, massive game here, already potential early relegation 6-pointer. Come on, the Foxes, got to get a win. Best way to describe the opening half an hour here is nerves. Nerves for both teams in a massive early season battle between 2 out of form and weaker teams as James Justin finds Buonanotte. And again, if one of us can win, that will be priceless, even so early on in the season. What we can't afford to do is lose again. That will be 4 straight defeats and no wins in, again, I think 6 games. As the Foxes stumble out the blocks in season 2. Here's El Canus on the turn with Costa on his shoulder. Now Leslie. Another Diddy. I see you, Christiansen. I see you. And Vic. Christiansen takes on early on. Beats Munir. as Leicester lead with 6 in the first half to play. What a finish from Vic. I don't think he scored a single goal all season long, but that's a great time to get your first in the save. Brilliant finish with the left foot, clips it off the post, and Leicester take a lead heading into the break. What a finish. Petition for EA to get rid of that POV camera, by the way. It's awful, honestly. I said before, I've looked in the settings, I've tried to find a way to toggle it off, but I can't find anything. I think we're stuck with it, unfortunately, at least in the short term. But for the new FC, I hope they give us an option to remove that replay. That and the hypermotion ones. I don't want it. Oh, it's Leslie! Get away! And keeps his composure. First in blue for Leslie Ugachukwu, and the Foxes score 2 right before the first half ends and right after the second half begins to take a massive advantage in a huge battle at the bottom. Well, this season I said I wanted more away day victories than we had last season. That total was 3. Here's our first, and what a time to get it as well. Ending the loss streak, getting us our first victory on the road, and what a performance as well against a relegation rival. Buzzing with that. Still not overly confident of winning the following game and getting our first consecutive wins this season, because we welcome the champions who, if you remember last season, won it undefeated for the second time in Premier League history. Arsenal comes to King Power next. One thing I give EA credit for as well is that in the past few years they've changed something really cool within their game, which is that now the logo of the league you're playing in can change if you're let's just say a team that gets promoted to the Premier League, for example. You'll notice that your logo on the sleeve goes from being the EFL logo to the Premier League. But also, Premier League teams themselves, you might notice that heading into this game, Arsenal's has gone from the traditional mauve to what we see in real life, the defending champions now having that Premier League logo turning gold. So they've got the gold logo now as Durasimbi slides and slips and turns it over the bar. The only thing that annoys me with this though is that it shows that you clearly can customise the kits even a little bit within a save, not just starting a new one. So why can't we do that with our kits? Why do we have to keep wearing the exact same kits and the exact same designs year in, year out within a career mode save? As we know, that's clearly not realistic nowadays. It's a new kit every year. So that's the one thing that's always kind of annoyed me a little bit with EA. You clearly can customise it, so why can't we? It's like with a Creator Club, for example. Like, for those that haven't played Creator Club before, every single season you can change your free kits. Like, you can change the colour scheme, you can change the design, you can even change the manufacturer of the kit as well. Now, I understand that for real teams and, you know, for sponsorship reasons, for example, and licensing reasons, maybe you've got to keep the actual sponsor that is sponsoring the team. So, for example, we'd have to keep this stupid little Bitcoin thingy on the chest. I couldn't choose a sponsor that I'd want, for example. But why can't you let us change the colour scheme of the away kits, for example? You know, wouldn't that be better? As Bukayo Saka drills in the opener. Arsenal lead 8 after the restart. Yeah, I didn't think we'd win this game somehow. I have done a lot of rambling today. Sorry, guys. It's feeling like an old school Docs episode. Talking about my favourite players and kit customisation requests in career mode. Oh dear. There's Marcus Llorente, looks to get away, pokes it through, there's Odegaard. This should be the second as the Norwegian holds it up. Chris Richards blocks the shot, not once but twice. Saka the goal scorer, then gets a shot away, only for Hermansen to get low down to his left-hand side. Still trailing by 1. We had one half chance really in the first, but other than that, it's been Arsenal in control, as we were expecting. I don't mind though. We lose these games against the best teams in the league. I don't mind. The games we need to win are the games we just did against Leeds. Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you are a weaker team, when you take on the big boys in the league, don't worry if you've been beaten and don't be too hard on yourself. If you get a point or a shock win, that's fantastic. But you know, most of the time, you're going to come away with nothing like we did here. That's alright though. We don't need to beat Arsenal. We don't need to beat Man City. We don't need to beat Liverpool. We need to beat the likes of Leeds, who we just did. Right, 3 more scouting updates to see what we got. Where from England, we shall keep on scouting these 3 players here. Oh, and from Denmark, I found a couple of really good goalkeepers here. We'll keep on scouting them from now. Berthelston and Knudsen in particular. He looks I might actually give him a scholarship, you know. I'm going to risk it and give him a scholarship straight away. I can always release him. And from Gibraltar, unfortunately, the tough start continues. It's not a great nation, and I do stand by this. It will improve, because I've said before, I do believe that it doesn't really matter where you go. Of course, there are certain nations that will wield you better players, but most of the time you will be okay to find one. But anyway, I just want to check the goalkeeper there. There he is, Knudsen. He could be very good. Very good indeed. We'll see how he looks in the academy during the season. Right, let's do 2 or 3 more games today. Following contest, a really good one too. Looking forward to this. East Midlands derby, our first of the season. Last year, it was really our win at the City ground that I felt propelled us to safety. So taking them on here. They've struggled out the blocks early this season, but a big win here, and our second win in 3 would be massive. Forest coming here next. We'll do one more game after this and end on a tough away day in the capital. But, sorry about the rambling today, guys. To be honest, though, that's when I just really enjoy recording. Like, when I can just, like, sit and talk about stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's when I get the most enjoyment out of it, personally. Not just solely focusing on the gameplay. Oh, it's Vardy. Skews it just wide. Won in the League Cup so far this season. A game winner against the Lions. That was so close to his first in the league, just wide. You know, Vardy now at 39 might be the oldest backup striker I've ever had. It's got to be up there. I mean, I can't think of anyone that even comes close to that age, really. But listen, he got 7 goals in the Premier League for me last season. He hasn't got one this year yet, but I don't think it'll be long before he does. Flag, surely. Yeah, I got my arm up, and there we are. Morgan gives White. Wonderful finish, but a flag up for offside. So still 0-0, half an hour to play. I'll take this, though. Might not be a win, but a credible point and clean sheet. I'll have this. Yeah, I'll take that. It's not a win and our second in 3, but it is our second clean sheet in 3 and only 1 loss in this mini run as well. I said it, we're a developing team, so games like this, points like these, clean sheets like in this game, they're not bad results and they're decent points on the board as well. Right, let's do one more then. Our final game today, travels to the capital, Crystal Palace away from home, facing Oliver Glasner's side as we go for back-to-back away day victories. And our second win in our last 4 Premier League games. Let's go get it. Come on, the Foxes. 2 wins in 10 Premier League games to start this season off. It's not great, don't get me wrong, as James Justin goes down early. But ultimately, the most important thing, before we can start thinking about a top 10 finish, let alone going for Europe, is being safe. At the moment, we will be on this current run of form. Samantha makes a great save and a bit of a scramble. Oh, that's got to be disallowed. Oh, what? How is that standing? Daichi Kamada has just opened the scoring, but that should be disallowed for interference of play. Surely Hermansen gets up to try and make the save. Okay, fair enough. It's a poor decision from me trying to play out from the back, as always. But man's on the floor when Kamada takes the shot. Hermansen is clearly obstructed trying to make the save. How on earth is that allowed? That's a terrible decision. Forget this semi-automated offside stuff that's getting rolled out. We don't need that to determine whether that's offside or not. It clearly is. You can't just stand in front of a goalkeeper. Ah, it's a great ball. Yep, thank you. There we go. And obstruct him from making the save and expect the goal to count. I don't know how on earth that has been allowed. Thankfully, we've cancelled it out instantly. Wharton, lovely ball through us. We know he can play. Finds his man up top. Palace looking to restore the lead here with Eberechi Eza through the gap to Saar. Bassi blocks the pass, but again, don't get the ball clear. Oh, and it's a brilliant finish. And Palace are back in front. Well, I've got grievances with the first goal. I can't do anything about the second. Oh, you are absolutely joking me, ref. Now, don't get me wrong, I know an extra minute had been played after the one allocated, but if you would have let Man City play on for that winner for Foden to death, I mean, why couldn't you let me play on there with the ball in basically the right position? Well, I said at the top of the episode, and I'll say it again, sometimes that is the cruel nature of life and how it goes. When you're at the bottom, you need to be even better, and those lucky breaks very rarely go to you. We've seen 2 in the same game here go against me. But that will do it for today's episode of the Realistic Career, guys. Big thank you for watching. I enjoyed it. If you have done, please do drop a like. Most of you all have a fantastic day. I'll return in the next one with more games in the Premier League, more scouting updates, and possibly the start of the January transfer window as well. Have a great day. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.